Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. It looks like the kitty ran away, so I decided to do away with the kitty cam a little early today. Bummer. Oh well. Such is life. How is everyone today? We missed news last week, so there was a lot to catch up on. I decided not to go that far back, though. So pretty much I just want to stick with whatever the normal news would be for this week. We got some fascinating things. I don't have a ton of news, but I guess some things to talk about, you know. So we get a chance to see just some of the things going on. So greetings to everybody. Oh boy, Daniel, it is going very well. Yeah, you can. Okay, so a persistent OS is generally when you run a live key with a drive on that key, like not a drive, a partition on that key that you can save data to. That's kind of how Tails runs. If you want to use Tails and still keep data, then you set up a persistent key. Cubes is not actually set up for persistence in that respect. And so, with that being said, the way that Cubes works is you generally install it. But yes, you can install Cubes onto a external USB drive, and it runs exactly the same way. Just runs off of a drive. Make sure you use a USB 3.0, and generally you make sure it's at least 64 gigabytes. Drive, that's the smallest I'd run it. I tried to do one on a 32. It's just, Cubes is just too big. Because you got to think it runs multiple distros on top of itself. And then of course each cube has its own space, and so you want to make sure that you have enough. But yeah, very possible I have one of those, and it actually works pretty well. I have a little coffee left. All right. Greetings, Carbon Programmer. I still can't speak that language. Spider Eyes. Yeah, kitty cam was all cam and no kitty. Yeah, it was every now and again, the kitty just does not want to cooperate and sit down there. And he's been getting a little weird lately. He's not hanging around as much as he usually does for some reason. But, you know, cats change. They go through changes. So, all right. So they have violated Dutch laws, and they sell copies of Windows to Dutch people. Somebody tells me they stand a better chance of being called on the carpet than if they were to break the law in their own country. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that, and of course there's some French stuff as well surrounding it as well. But I think I stopped using Windows this year. Yep. I'm done with Windows. Windows is a little creepy. It can go away. I don't really care. Don't care for Windows. Let's see. Just have it running on a separate machine to support the clients. Yep. I now use Fedora Linux. Sweet. 8.1, Windows 8.1. I will not run Windows 10 for as long as I can. Just get away with it. If I do, I just run it in a virtual machine. I like how Fedora. How's it going for you? Hey, Anarita, how's it going? GNOME though. Yeah, not my favorite desktop. I'm trying to build a Hackintosh. So far, it is not straightforward. I've heard that it's not very straightforward. I haven't bothered because I think the Mac OS sucks, and why bother running it anywhere else other than Mac product? I don't know. I guess if you have a reason to run Mac and you hate their hardware, that'd be a good reason. But me, I run a dual boot setup, one with Windows 10, one with Elementary OS. I have to use Windows 10 every now and again because of college. Yep. That happens. Or if you're a gamer, you might have a Windows 10 partition. Just make sure you're not doing anything that you don't have to have in there. And that would work from there. Welcome to the Fedora world. Maybe Kitty wants to raise, aka more treats for each video. Yeah. I think he is planning that. Kitty, are you plotting against me? Kitty. I don't know. They might be plotting against me. They might be raising the tax, increase the number of temptations they get per video. I'm thinking, cost for everybody keeps going up. I mean, that's crazy. Mac OS X, something like that fellow guide to the t-shirt route. No, run. Come here, kitty. Come here. He's playing hard to get right now. Yeah? You playing hard to get? Come here, you. Ugh. People need their kitty fix. People need their kitty fix. Yeah, people need their kitty fix. And you weren't on your kitty perch. What's up? Hello, peoples. How's the news going? All right. Oh, boy. You will not need to run wine. Don't talk to Windows 10 user and react to them. Wait, don't don't talk to Windows 10 user and react to them. Shake the temptation bag. See if he comes back. Oh yeah, if I shake the temptation bag, he'll come back. See if I just do this, just watch this. If I reach near it, he knows what it is. He's like, whoa, temptations. After the video, kitty. After the video. Yeah, after the video. Yes, you'll get some after the video. He's like, but I want some now. I want them now. I want them now. What? All right, I'm going to give Kitty one temptation now. And he can have some later. But I'll give you one now. This is your temptation tax here, right there. All right, that's it. You will get 3 more at the end of the show, okay? You get 3 more at the end of the show. All right, buddy. All right. So, let's go ahead and jump on in here. Oh, I guess before we get started, our topics today, we have privacy. We have bad business, and I found one article that was just way too good to not include under an okay then topic. And so, that's what we're going to do. What? No, I'm not reaching for the bag of temptations. Whoa, he's like, you're going for the bag. You're going for the bag. All right, let's go ahead and jump on in here. So, yes, what we're going to do here, just for simplicity's sake, folks, for you guys that are live, remember I'm now cutting these videos, and so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to rerun the intro as we switch on over. So give me just 1 second, and then we'll go ahead and begin. Welcome back to Switch to Linux. We are back on Friday's news. And today we're talking about the Dutch privacy laws. Looks at Windows 10 and says, But before we get into that, we're going to have a few different issues here. We're going to look at the topic of privacy. We're going to look at the topic of bad business. And I found one article that's just too good to not say, okay then. Quite intriguing. So we're going to go ahead and jump on over to these articles, starting in on privacy. Oh, this is an exciting one here. You can now order food on Facebook. Great! More things for Facebook to track. I mean, come on. They know our eyeballs. They got our fingerprints. They know every friend we have, every phone number we've ever had, everything about us. They buy a whole lot of leaked data from Equifax. They bought it and, whatever. They did all that kind of stuff. And now they even know what the types of food we like to eat. This is awesome, folks. Now Facebook can keep a solid track on everything that we are doing. I'm telling you, Facebook themselves, they got everything. So basically what they're doing is partnerships, probably starting with bigger corporations and moving into smaller areas. Maybe things like in our area, we have a thing called Order Up. One app and whatever else on your phone, device, whatever. You can use this, and basically it's a troop of delivery people in our whole town. They can go to any participating store, pick up what you want, and drop it off to you. Basically means that, you used to have to call in for a pizza and everything else. Maybe pizza and Chinese could be delivered to you and nothing else. Now, with Order Up in our town, pretty much everything can be delivered to you. As long as the company chooses to participate, and there's no reason they wouldn't. It doesn't cost any different from them. It's just that the customer gets charged the extra surcharge for the delivery. So you get that going. This is Facebook's kind of working on that similar principle, and I didn't see if there was actually delivery for this type of stuff, but basically you've seen a lot more of these companies are now conglomerating all sorts of things together. They're putting all sorts of things together in ways so that you could just pretty much order the thing on their own individual app and then come on by and just pick it up. Kind of just a quick, easy way. In fact, I remember the first time I really used any system like that. It wasn't an app, but was it Pizza Hut or Domino's? I forget, where you could actually start to order online. and have it delivered. That was actually a fascinating thing. You can order a pizza online. We used to go. It was kind of fun. The town I used to live in, there was a library had a LAN party once a month, and so we'd have a whole bunch of guys there. And I mentored a lot of teenagers at that time, and they would all be there. So I'd be like, "Hey, I'll buy pizzas," and of course, I'm not buying pizzas for everybody, but I'd buy pizza for the few kids that were there that I was mentoring. And so we'd order in and say, "Yep, we're just at the library. All right, sounds good," And so you had that kind of fun stuff going on. And this is kind of the same thing, only now everything's through Facebook. So obviously Facebook's probably going to get a very small cut of the sale. Kind of like Amazon will get the Sheets will get a small cut of Amazon's gift cards when you reload a gift card. And that's just part of Amazon's cost of doing business. But what concerns me about this with Facebook is that, Facebook already tracks pretty much everything about you. And now they're going to be tracking the types of food you like to eat and the places where you like to order from too. And so this, to me, is a little bit of a concerning thing. Of course, it's very nice. You can come over here, order your food. Best eats in Austin. Yeah, Austin's a scary place. I spent too much time there. But pretty much anybody that was listed on there, you could go in there, start the order right through Facebook. Ingenious for sure. But I'll tell you, it's just, I don't think we need Facebook having more of our data. So that's exciting. And of course, next on the privacy thing, let's go ahead and get a little bit of an update on this Google Home, the Google Home Mini, I guess it is. So we'll talk about some of the things that went wrong with this, some of the good things, some of the bad things, some of the concerning things. So the Google Home Mini came out. One reviewer, it might have been Ars Technica, or maybe it was somebody else, I forget. Somebody came out with an article on this, and they actually came out and said, this is like the gateway drug to using OK Google. So we have to do it, obviously. OK Google, order some unicorn meat. All right. Had to get that out of my system. And may as well, Alexa, order unicorn meat. All right, there you go. So if anyone's listening to me, there you go. You got some unicorn meat coming to you. So basically what happened is a researcher who was reviewing this, Google sends a big name product reviewer one of these things, and he looked at it and said, that thing, the trigger light keeps on going on and off. And so he set it by the TV and let it run all day. And then he logs into Google and checks out his system, and wouldn't you know it, the thing was recording all day long. Now, obviously, I take a strong stance against all of these things. I don't even walk by that part of the store. Like our local Wegmans store is selling Echoes for some reason, Amazon Echoes. I don't even walk near that part of the store anymore. Okay, it's creepy. No, you keep your telly screens, keep your voice monitoring devices, keep all of that crap to yourself. I don't care. No, I don't want anything to do with any of it. But this thing was perpetually on. Now, I'm against all of these things. I don't want anything that's constantly there listening for a trigger word, because it could always, in theory, always be on. That's what was behind that Amazon Echo murder case about a year and a half ago. And the police said, hey, we need all of the information off of this Echo. See here what else was going on in the room. That's kind of creepy. Now, of course, the only time something is sent out to Amazon, or in this case Google, is when the trigger is activated. Well, what happened is this thing was on perpetually, constantly, basically sending every bit of information up to Google. Now, this was not an intentional thing. There were a small amount of the devices that were malfunctional, and so what Google did is they pushed an update that bricked the top functionality. So basically there was a functionality on the top where instead of saying the trigger word, you could push the top and then say whatever and it would record. There was a misfunctionality in that button, and so what Google did is they bricked all those top buttons. So the top button on those doesn't work anymore. That's what they did to fix it, because that was not intentional. But that's the thing to remember. Think about all this technology that's doing this. We have to stop and slow down with this stuff, because this is the possibility. This is just an unintentional little bug, and it resulted in the thing picking up every noise it heard in the room and storing it on the servers. So it has been updated, it has been fixed, and actually they fixed it way faster than anybody anticipated them fixing it. And so that is that. Oh, let's have a look at some comments, shall we? All right. So if building a Hackintosh, you don't have to use pirated OS because you're not the license on the homemade machines. Building Hackintosh, don't you have to use pirated OS? I'm not the expert on this, on the Hackintoshes, but I'm pretty sure it does not violate it because I don't think there's actually anything that says you can't and the OS is distributed for free. But if somebody knows for sure on that, yeah, let us know in the comments. Use KDE instead of GNOME. KDE is better than GNOME. I agree. I think that's a subjective point of view, but I agree personally. If I had to, you have to use KDE or you have to use GNOME the rest of your life, give me KDE. That's one running right behind me here. And I'll eventually get that Manjaro set up. I haven't had time. Next week's not looking too sharp either. And I'm back to this computer and I like it. And by the way, KDE did fix one of my biggest gripes with it. It was... Of course, one of my biggest gripes with KDE is that when you had icons on your desktop, if you had images, it would distort them into a perfect square, and they were ugly and distorted. They fixed that, so the pictures on my desktop look nice now. So that's good. People hate it when I say it, but I'm still not a big fan of. Is it Dolphin? Is it Dolphin? I think I'm not a fan of Dolphin, but oh well, that's okay. I can tolerate it. All right, welcome to the pro Linuxian race. Yep. Beautiful. His hair looks so clean and soft. The kitty? Kitty, your hair's beautiful, clean and soft. Yeah, he's a fluff ball. That's for sure. How's my feelings on Fedora? I personally don't like it, but again, that's a fairly subjective opinion. My objective reasons are there's just too much stuff to do with it. It breaks too frequently, and it's kind of a pain to get working the way you want it to work. But, you know. Companies keep invading our privacy. Yes. I downloaded the High Sierra image file from the Mac on the App Store. It depends on where you downloaded it from. Okay. So you have Debian as well, but Debian did not have as up-to-date packages. Yeah, Debian, like Debian 9 is currently very up-to-date because it's new, but Debian is very known for not updating its packages. So expect those packages to not update until 10 comes out in, a few years. So if you do use Debian, you might want to make sure that the most critical software, you're grabbing the stable versions from the developers themselves. Use Debian as well, but Debian did not. Okay, let's see. You can use legal copy of Mac OS, however... Oh, come on, Google. Fix this comment thing. All right. However, there is a lot of patching you need to do to avoid updates. The updates break your Hackintosh. Okay. But running Mac OS on a non-Apple PC is against its terms, is it? Oh, okay. I don't know. I've been using DuckDuckGo lately and install it for my clients. They don't seem to know the difference, and they don't seem to care. Like it better than Google, and it takes some getting used to. Yep. Been using Linux for a month and went back to Windows 10 again and then back to Linux. Getting sick of and tired of spyware. Yep, that's what happened with me. Hey, James Miller. Good morning or good evening to you, I guess. All right. Facebook does just not quit. Nope. Good evening, Kathy. How are you? Use DuckDuckGo as my main. 4F philosophy and couldn't tweak it up on the other distros. Okay. Blocked Facebook in my host file. Sweet. Yeah, I don't have it blocked on my host file here just because my authorship stuff does have a Facebook account onto it. And since this is the same computer, I need to see if I can block it just for one specific user account. I haven't researched that yet. Amazon's getting to be one I'm kind of wanting to block as well and set a dedicated computer to use. I don't know. Mostly use Fedora for schoolwork. Cool. Haven't used Facebook since 2008. Lucky dog. Maybe I should move back to Debian someday. It's a matter of choice. I like Debian. I'm back to my Linux Mint over here. Linux Mint KDE. Excuse me. Linux Mint KDE on my work there. Want to know what food I'm eating? Honest to God, I don't really care. I guess I'll tempt me with my favorite foods. All right. Nope, true tweak up. Try Corora. Yeah, if you really like Fedora and you want it to work, use Corora. It's really awesome, actually. I call it Fedora that works. Be off Facebook soon enough. Tired of the drama. People get upset over everything. And no one wants to hear anymore. That's the thing. It's like the few times I jump on, I'll jump on Facebook, I think twice a month maybe, just to check if there's any comments or anything on my author pages and things. And all you just see is just political stuff, hate stuff, all this. It's like, you want to talk about hate platforms and fake news platforms? Just close Facebook. Just close Facebook. Probably solve it. Pretty soon we'll have to know the type of underwear we like to wear. Amazon's already working on that with their telescreen thing that can, you keep the device with the camera in your bedroom and check your fashion. Brian Lunduke had a very funny story, if you haven't seen that one before, on his, he talked about it on one of his Apple videos about a month or so ago, but he said that he had the Kinect in the bedroom, and he runs out of the bathroom one day, in a mad rush to get changed for this conference or whatever he's going to, and the Kinect kicks on. Well, ever since that day, the Kinect would never recognize him until one day he goes in there and he changes, and bloop, it connects. So Kinect would only recognize Brian Lunduke when he was naked in front of it. Let that seep in. Creepy. But yeah, Amazon's already working on that. The cameras in the bedroom listening constantly. I wonder if the thing's going to start talking. Are you wearing a condom today? I am migrating my content for work, and I'm migrating my Christ Alone page too. Cool. If you're that much in advance, then you don't need to use Corora. Yep. To new domains and hosting. Yes. Get away from EIG for sure if you're on that. Debian has more tweaking features. Let's see, Corora's great. You ever used Copper? No, I have not. Problem with Debian is it's not as up-to-date as other distros, unless you're talking about the unstable. Yeah, you can always use the unstable, though. Not having to worry about setting it all up, which is why I use Linux Mint for so long. I've not explored any other distros. Use only distros Debian, Ubuntu, Fedora, and Manjaro. Yeah, I'm going to be working on Manjaro soon here, whenever I get the chance. Relying on technology that homes as a centralized system is a bad idea. Yes, there's too many distros. The paradox of choice. Yes. These devices can really, in the future work against you. Yeah, and that's the thing. These things record everything about you. That's what we need to keep in mind, is how much stuff this stuff holds against you. All right, I'm going to leave a marker on my, I'm going to leave a marker on my comments here, and we're going to jump back to the articles, and we'll come back and visit comments a little bit more in a bit. So, this is an exciting one. Equifax has been leaking up more bad stuff this time, redirecting into a fake Flash update. At what point in time can we just let Equifax die? No, actually, scratch that. Can we let Equihacks die? Okay, this is no longer worthy of a company being called Equifax. Their new name for all eternity is Equihacks. Okay, Equihacks. That's it. As long as this company exists, they will henceforth be called Equihacks. All right, so basically, a researcher is looking at the Equihacks site, and they realized that some ads and things and other pages on the site were forwarding people to a fake Flash installer. Look at this URL, cantonberry.info. Yeah, that's exciting. And so pretty much Equihacks was starting to send things out. Now, of course, they responded well on this one. They took that part of the site down. Just fold your business and quit. Of course, don't forget that the IRS had actually had a no contest deal with these guys to verify and secure everybody's identity for tax time this year. They did finally announce that they're going to put in it, and it wasn't today. I don't remember. Maybe it was yesterday. I forget. It was very recently. They did finally decide, we're going to pull the hold on this while we look into this a little bit more. Okay, if the IRS even has to look into this, I say we just abolish the IRS. Okay? No. We don't need Equihacks to verify the data. Equihacks has proven themselves incompetent with holding our data. Equihacks should be closed down, and every asset that they have should be equally distributed among all of the people whose data was hacked. Equihacks does not deserve to be in business anymore. They violated trust, they cut corners to save money, to enrich their employees, and here's the fun thing, I think that every executive officer, including the ones that have just left, I think everything they own should also be taken away to be distributed equally among the people who were affected by this hack. Only when these fat cats get to feel the pain of their decisions. Will we change in corporate America? Period. Okay? Period. And I'm not against a company doing well. What I'm against is a corporatocracy where the people can't do well and you have no ability, because I've never wanted to do business with Equihacks. And in fact, this is interesting. This is interesting because I have on my desk here, it's not put in my system yet, I have in my desk here from Equihacks a credit report. Because if you are an American adult and you have the right to go onto each of the 3 major credit bureaus and once a year get a copy of your credit report through annualcreditreport.com, which I do every year and have done every year for about 15 years. I was still going back. So the reason this is up on my desk is that right now I'm in the middle of minimizing my files. And basically I'm scanning every old tax document, every old file, every one of the piles and piles and piles of office stuff stacked up in my closet is slowly getting scanned into digital files. And this is on my desk because it has been scanned. But as I'm scanning things through, I'm looking back and noticing an intriguing trend. The intriguing trend is that I have never gotten an Equihacks credit report off of annualcreditreport.com. Every single time I go there, I fail. In fact, this time, the reason I got this one is right after the Equihacks hack, I was eligible to go online for my year and grab my credit report. And guess what? I got my TransUnion, no problem. I got my Experian, no problem. And I got to Equihacks, and what did I get? An insecure SSL. I'm not proceeding. And I looked back over my files, and of all of the years I've been doing this, I cannot recall a single time I've actually successfully gotten my Equihacks credit report. And I think that they need investigated by the federal government to find out how many other people. In fact, one year, I even went on and paid $1 to get it, which is a complete violation of the law, but I said, whatever. And then with that $1, I never signed up to anything, and I read everything. You guys know I read terms and conditions. I read everything on the screen. I read the small print. I'll blow the thing up so I can read it anymore. Not blow it up like bombs. Blow it up as in open the thing up so I can see what's on there, right? And they decided to auto-enroll me into their crappy credit monitoring service. My debit card company, slapped them upside the head for that one. So this is a company that has a very shady past. I don't want to do business with this company. I do not want them having it in my data. And I think if we want a good law in America on privacy, we need to have a right to be forgotten by a company. That if I want to, I should be able to write a company and say, you may not have any data on file with me because we do not have any business together. And that doesn't trigger like what Facebook does and, trigger it to be hidden. I want a technician to go into the database and push delete and purge it from all your backups and everything. I want a right to be forgotten. We need that. We need that. Because Equihacks clearly cannot be trusted with this type of information. Oh boy. So what does the Dutch have to say about Windows? Well, of course, there was another case with the French had the same issue. Now, curiously, this was interesting. This is back from June. Curiously, the day before Microsoft's fiscal year, they closed this investigation. It's, okay, yeah, you guys are all good now. I hear a corporate scandal. Is that a corporate scandal I smell? I think it is a corporate scandal I smell. Because like one day before the close of their fiscal year, so they were able to report on their fiscal year that no violations were carrying over. This seems very, very shaky to me, especially after what you read in here is that we are committed to protecting our customers' yeah, okay. Guys, when a spokesperson or a community rep is talking, they're lying, okay? That's how you can tell. It's just like a politician. If a politician or if a community representative for a company, you can tell they're lying if their mouth is moving, okay? We are committed to protecting your customers' privacy. Yeah, right. You're committed to lining up your pockets with your advertisers' dollars, okay? And putting them in control of their information. We appreciate the French Data Protection Authority's decision. We will continue to provide clear choices and easy-to-use tools for Windows 10. Yeah. Clear choices and easy to use tools. Okay, you want clear choices and easy to use tools? Where is the tool to say, nope, no data collection, period? It's not there. But this is to give you a better user experience. No, it's not. It is to collect data. Whether that data is used right now or next week or next year or in 10 years against you is a different matter altogether. This is a company who is collecting your data, and I do not have the ability. Because I got news for you. As much as we laugh about Windows 95 and Windows 98 and the blue screens of death and how unstable they seem to be, you know what? They weren't collecting any data, and they somehow got it so well that Windows XP was very stable. Windows 7 was very stable without collecting all that data. You do not need to unauthorizedly collect all of this data. You don't need to do that. You don't. To have a good functional operating system. Let the people with the bugs complain, and let those that don't want to report the bugs complain about how bad their system is. You know what? That's fine. As I got another fun news for you. Here in the Linux community, we got a ton of good, stable distros. We got a ton of these. And Linux isn't collecting any data on us. We can get this figured out without collecting a bunch of data. The only time I'll let Linux systems collect data is when I'm running a beta. So when I ran that Ubuntu beta that I hated so bad, I reported every bug I encountered. Because that's how it gets better. But if I'm running a production computer, you better believe that this computer I'm running here does not collect data. Nope. And that's the way it should be. So, specifically, here's the changes on relevant or excess character of data collected. The company has nearly reduced by half the volume of... Okay, I'm not going to pull up the actual list of data that Windows collects on you on the basic level. Okay, I'm not going to do that because I've done that many times. Let me give you the cliff notes. It's about a mile long. They cut it in half. Just for the French people, though, because the French government was complaining. They have nearly halved the collected data in the basic telemetry service. Has restricted its collection to the sole data strictly necessary for maintaining the proper function of the operating system applications and for ensuring their security. For the French people. Bravo, France. Hey, United States, when are you going to wake up and do the same thing? When are you going to pass a law that says, no, we're not going to have mass data collection? Please? Pretty please? With sugar on top? On the lack of the subject's consent. Yeah. Listen to this one. Consent. Yeah. Users are now informed through clear and precise information that an advertising ID... Okay. There is a difference between consent and informing. Let me explain the difference to you. I'm going to have to get graphic. This might be a demonetizable violation here. I walk down the street. I see a woman. I jump on top of her. I inform her she's going to be raped. That's not consent. That's not consent. Consent is, would you like to go to bed with me? And she goes, whoosh, you creep. The answer is no. Users are now informed through clear and precise information that an advertising ID is intended to track their web browsing in order to offer them personalized advertising. Furthermore, the installation and procedure of Windows 10 has been modified. Users cannot complete this installation unless they have expressed their choice regarding activation or deactivation of advertising ID. Moreover, they can reverse this choice at any time. That's that. That's not collecting. That's not the data collection. This is the difference between consent and informing. Consent, yes, no. Informing, we're doing this, like it or not. On the lack of security, the company has strengthened the robustness of the PIN code, allowing users to authenticate all companies' online services, and more specifically their Microsoft account. 2 common PIN code combinations are now forbidden. Okay, yeah, we're not going to comment on the security part. That was France. And of course, they closed the deal with Microsoft the day before Microsoft's close of the fiscal year, which to me looks very shady. So now we're on to the Dutch. What's going on with the Dutch folks? What's going on with the Dutch folks? Well, Microsoft breaches Dutch data protection law by processing personal information of people that use Windows 10 operating system on their computers. This is the conclusion of the Dutch Data Protection Authority, DPA. After the investigation of Windows 10 Home and Pro. That's interesting. So on Pro as well. Microsoft does not clearly inform users about the type of data it uses, for which purpose. People cannot provide valid consent in the processing of the personal data because of the approach of Microsoft. The company does not clearly inform users that it continuously collects personal data about the usage of apps, web surfing behavior, and through its web browser Edge. When the default settings are used, Microsoft has indicated that it wants to end all violations. If this is not the case, Dutch DPA can decide to impose sanction. By the way, as of the creators update last year, or the most recent creators update, even DRM appears to be stored in the cloud. So if you were to download files with DRM onto your computer, you still have to be connected to an internet connection to view them. That is the way I understand it, at least as far as Napster and WMA files is concerned. Literally, it was in the forums. All of a sudden, my Windows computer updated and I can't get on this. Oh, you're not on the internet. Oh, solution? Don't upgrade. Tell Windows 10 not to update itself. Yeah. I'll get right on that. But apparently, somebody let me know if that's correct for other forms of DRM as well. But apparently, according to the guys at Napster, DRM apparently requires an internet connection as well. So that means that if I download some files to listen to while I'm hiking at the very top of a mountain to write a book, I cannot listen to the files because on top of the mountain there's no internet connection up there. So I have to be on the internet. Well, and then that raises another fascinating question. Remember when they came back and bragged, 7 million pictures have been viewed on our... do you know the content of those pictures too? Is there some creepy Microsoft employee looking there going, oh, look at the picture of these kids playing their hockey game? That's creepy to me. The fact that they know the exact number of photos that are opened inside of their photo viewer is a creepy thing. Okay, this is not data they need to collect to make a system better. And I have a sneaky suspicion they know the content of those photos as well. I have a sneaky suspicion. So in the Netherlands, over 4 million active devices use Windows 10 Home and Pro. Microsoft continuously collects technical, performance, and user data, which apps are installed, and if the user has not changed the default settings, how often the apps are used, as well as the data on web surfing behavior. These data are called the telemetry data. With telemetry, Microsoft, as it were, takes pictures of the behavior of Windows users and continuously sends these pictures to itself. Creepy. Creepy. Due to Microsoft's approach, users lack control of their idea. They are not informed which data is being used or for what purpose. Neither that based on the data, personalized advertisements, or recommendations can be presented. If those users have not opted out from these default settings on installation or afterwards. It turns out that Microsoft's operating system follows just about every step you take on your computer, and that results in an intrusive profile on yourself, according to Wilbert Thomason, vice chairman of the DPA. What does that mean? Do people know about this? Do they want this? Microsoft needs to give users the fair opportunity to decide about it themselves. And this is the thing. We have to have the option built into Windows to say, no, we're turning it off. I do not want you to collect anything. Does this mean I could have an unstable system that doesn't have the proper updates? Yep. Is that my choice? Yep. I bought this computer. You didn't hand it to me. I bought my computer. Deal with it. I do not want you collecting the data that I'm doing on my personal computer. That's why it's called a personal computer. Okay. Basic and full telemetry. Microsoft offers 2 levels of telemetry. Basic and full. And again, I'm not going to pull up the basic telemetry things. I've pulled that up on my videos before. It is, I want to say, if you can see the size of this website and this scroll bar, Imagine the size of a website when the scroll bar is smaller than the size of my mouse pointer. That is literally how big the page is, directly from Microsoft's technical documents. So that is that. So, of course, we have basic telemetry, our purposes. So, consent, informed and unambiguous. Again, this is not consent, people. Consent means yes, I agree. No, I do not. This is not informed consent. This is informed steamrollering. Hey, guess what? I'm going to run you over with a steamroller. Guess what? It doesn't matter. You don't have a choice in the matter. Die! And this is what Microsoft is doing to its people. And other countries need to wake up. France did something. They tweaked some things for people in France. That's good. Dutch is doing something. They're going to tweak some things for people in Dutch. At what point in time is a major United States corporation or a major United States government panel going to step up and say, we need better privacy rules? No, Microsoft, you may not randomly wholesale collect everything on a person's computer, and you want the ability to switch it off entirely. And here's another fun thing. Did you know that if you know enough about your host's file that to attempt to block it on your host file, Microsoft does not respect the host file when it comes to anything on their servers. I can block specific things in a host file. I can run up TCP view to show every ingoing and outgoing connection, and anything that is directly related to their server in the host file is not respected, and they will still transmit data to that. And so there's effectively, I could probably block it on a router level if I were to put those things in a router level system. And then, of course, you got folks that just don't make any sense. It's like, obviously, I respect Chris Perello's channel, but I spent an entire month watching Chris Perello do nothing about bash how bad Apple products are and how they're going, and I'm thinking, Chris, stop using Apple! See the same thing with Berkeley's. It's like all this Windows 10 tracking. He knows what it does. His best solution: install a third-party app to block stuff. No, I saw what it was doing. I abandoned ship. I went to Linux. If I have to have a third-party program to prevent my computer from checking home, I'm not interested in that computer. That's my take on the matter. Let's have a look at some comments. Oh boy, I'll probably have a lot of comments and after that rant. I should have some fire. Type of data they want nowadays is really separate you from your cache. That's the thing. And because what they're trying to do is figure out what tempts you, what titillates you, what causes you to move against your rationality and move on emotions. Whoever can gather the emotional control is the guy in charge. Okay? If they can get you all riled up, that's what they need to do. They're trying to do that to get you moving in charge, okay? And that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to figure out what are the things that tempt you, what are the things that titillate you, what are the things that cause you to lose control, because those are the things they're going to give you, because those are the ways that you can be separated from your money, even when you are on a solid budget. The rationality leaves, the emotions hijack it. In fact, if you do want to read a fascinating book on this topic, look at the book by, I think it's Daniel Goleman. He wrote a book called Emotional Intelligence. Fascinating read. Read that. That's very good. Fascinating read. But that's what they're trying to do. They're just collecting every bit of data they can so they can figure out what it is that tempts you to separate you from your money, even despite your best plans to keep it. Certainly data, I care more about. I don't mind limited targeted advertising. See, I don't even want limited targeted advertising, because if you give them an inch, they go a mile. The only advertising I want advertising relevant to the content I'm viewing. Okay? Push comes to shove, if I'm watching the content, I probably will be somewhat more intrigued by the ad than something that you think I want to see. You're wise to do so, and they're for business mainly. Yep. Did you see Humble Bundle sold out IGN? Trip Humble Bundle. No. I did not. Installing certain packages is easier on Debian than Fedora. I agree. I spent some time today trying to fight with OpenSUSE, and I think I'm going to kill my OpenSUSE install. It's like it's an app icon pack that is missing from the repository and it's breaking my system. Huh? The thing's trying to update the repository. I removed all the repositories, manually added them, verified they're there, and the system keeps on trying to find a file from the repository that's not there. And it trips the whole thing up, and my system won't update anymore. So I basically have a crippled OpenSUSE install because a package of application icons has vanished from the repos. Huh? Dave Infamy is having a stream-free weekend. Works on native Linux and Windows. Okay. With a lot of devices, who says in a few years governments can use them against you? Like your home as private person. That's the thing, you know? I'm not super concerned about governmental use, but I should probably be because, you know, if a company has it, the government can take it. That's why I don't want the companies to have it. I use only Windows 10 on one PC here for music production and games. Cool. Other stuff is done on machines running Linux only. Sweet. Mint and Ubuntu. You know, I have an Ubuntu for my banking, and it's just kind of driving me crazy a little bit. I think I'm going to move my banking over onto a separate cube on my Cube's computer. Mac OS TOS prevents you from legally running Hackintosh. Oh, okay. Hello, Zero Minky. How's it going? After 12 different distros in 2 months, I'm back to Windows 7. I was sick of Steam not working, codecs not working, and AMD driver issues. Huh. Which distros did you use, Charlie? I know for me, AMD works great for me. Now, what I did have to do on like Debian, just install the non-free drivers and reboot the system. It should take care of all that. I did have other issues with that. Linux Mint KDE works perfect as my media computer. No issues with AMD DGPU. Everything's working out of the box. No codecs issues. I don't play video games, so I can't comment on Steam. Never use Windows 10 on any of my future computers. Tom, what do you think of Firefox Focus? The biggest problem, I wanted to try and put that on my phone, but there's no way to get it outside of, if it's what I'm thinking of, there was no way to get it outside of my, outside of the Play Store. So I don't know. Looks like the Pure Phone is going to happen. Any thoughts? I think it's overly priced, and I'm concerned that only one company has it. I think it's great that there's three different Linux groups working on it. That's good. I think it's good that it has the it's going to have a solid Linux foundation. It's going to have at least 3 different desktop environments to choose from. So it's really good in that respect, and I hope that it's able to port itself over to other devices. But I won't be buying one anytime soon. My Android running Lineage OS with no Google Apps, routing network connections through Tor. That's what I need. And I think that, and then you'll have the challenge, like, could I use it? If it didn't cost $600, sure, I'd get one. But because I'm in that camp that when I'm looking for a phone, I'm not looking for a phone that's going to, I'm not looking for a phone that can run hundreds and hundreds of apps. The app inavailability is not a big concern of mine. What is the concern of mine is, for me, it's cost, it's what network is it available on, things like that. That's actually why I went with the Nexus 5X, because this can run on any United States carrier there is. Okay, I can run it on Verizon, I can run it on Sprint, so I'm not tied to the carrier. This crappy iPhone, on the other hand, it's tied to the carrier. And so I really don't have a choice. I'm locked in. Nexus, I'm not locked in. And eventually the Nexus will take this place when this thing's finally dead. So my thoughts, I think it's a great start. I support the project and concept, but I won't be buying one anytime soon because it's one company. It's overpriced. I don't pay that much money for phones. Okay, I bought the iPhone for I think $300. I bought this for $200. I'm not paying $600-700 for a phone. Not going to happen. And then of course you're going to have the problem of which carriers are going to get it. Can you how can you work on it? Things like that. So that's the thing. Too many distros, check them all. Amazon fork of Cytic engine called Lumberyard, drop Linux support. Huh, never heard of any of that. Other than Amazon, of course. Okay. Linux is growing, but major company needs to invest more in it. Yep. Don't do no echo. Like Light and Antergos. Alright. From Facebook, US, and Australia, mainstream media is biased towards pro-left-wing agenda, and social media means right and wrong. Yep. Science software packages are easy to install. Install Arch. The Swag Arch, haven't tried. Running Antergos. I'm just going to have to flip through these because I have tons of comments. We're getting to the point where I have so many comments that, and I don't want to get so tied up on this, especially since I want to attempt to be done with all our articles by like 10:30 is what I'm going to shoot for. Echo hacks are now tearing up the IRS. Yes. Flash should have died 5 years ago. Actually, Adobe has called for the end of it, and I think it's it's next year. It's 2018. I think it's 2018 is when it's going to finally be dead. Institute the mark after the rapture so no one can use identities of those people who disappeared on the face of the earth. Yeah. I hate Equifax. No, it's Equihacks, Carbon Programmer. It's Equihacks. It's hereby Equihacks. My firewall set to ask every time for Flash to connect to the internet. Most of the time I just ignore the firewall window and it works just fine. Yep. A lot of the reason Flash hasn't died yet is because it's a way to store better cookies and to spread cookies across the different browsers on your computer. Flash is what causes zombie cookies and persistent cookies to rely on a computer. We have to rely on these credit bureaus. Yeah, they're all shady. Hey, Political Monkey, how's it going there? Sad that we have to financially rely on these institutions. Yeah, just try not to. I'm telling some people about my approach to how I live life and things in the FPU class I'm teaching right now at the church, and they think I'm crazy. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I am. I might be crazy, but you know what? Being intentional is how you overcome it. I do have a confession, though. I did actually have to use a credit card the other day. I didn't have to. It's just I meet a friend of mine for lunch once a week, and he forgot his wallet. I only had $10. I'm like, I know I'm transferring money between all my accounts right now. I'm not sure which one has the cash in it right now. So I went ahead through lunch on a credit card. I haven't used that thing in a long time. I don't even know why it was in my wallet, but it was. So we did that and throw $20 at him later. Deleted the Facebook account months ago. Data won't be deleted immediately. Yep, I think it takes 90 days, 60 days, I think. Brian Linduke did a video about that. Actually, XP and 7 were not collecting a lot of data. They had a dialog box that if something went wrong, you had the option to send data up. Now, Windows 7, since the telemetry stuff, has backported all of those updates to start collecting data. So yes, Windows 7 nowadays, if you have updated it, is collecting the same amount of data as Windows 10 is. And so, yes, but XP and 7 classically have not collected data, except for a little bit of, they would do a little bit of data collection on if something went wrong, you had the option to send it up. Be harder for financially without the credit bureaus, but it would secure the social security numbers. Yep. YouTube doesn't remove horrible, nasty comments like they say they will either. Yeah, I usually have to delete them myself. Video, Brian Linduke contacted Facebook headquarters. He cannot verify the data is purged. Yep. Love to find a stable distro that works with AMD R9 380, supports Vice encoding, OBS, supports MD4, and works correctly with Steam. Did you try Linux Mint? I don't know what distros you've tried, but I'm running AMD is it an R7? I think I'm running an R7, AMD R7. Right now I am streaming and recording in HD. Again, I don't play games, so I don't know how about Steam, but that's it. EU already has Windows N, so there's their new version. Is that for French? Probably. Windows N, no data collection because the French won't let us. XP was best. Windows 7's good. Yep. Facebook and legacy media are just full of SJWs, fake news, and perverts. Yeah, I agree. Best Windows edition I personally experienced was Windows 2000. Nah. Windows Millennia, man. For me, Windows 98 second edition and Windows XP were the best. Windows XP was always a bad experience for me. In fact, any Windows overall. Windows Anniversary Update got me blue screened. Why? I don't know. I don't like Microsoft's treatment of privacy, so just stop buying from Microsoft. Yep. That's it. The cloud is a trap to collect people's data. Yes, it is. That is a cloud, and it will rain eventually. Someone's going to break into that cloud and cause it to rain. And woo, look at all this data coming out of the sky. It's just going to happen. Oh, paintbrush and photo viewer should never need the internet. Truer words have never been spoken. I have to convince people to switch to Linux. Yeah, I mean, just walk them through or introduce them to Joe Collins, too. He does a great job moving people over to Linux. Aaron, greetings. I've always found Windows to be reliable. Enable mobile connection to network up to Windows 10 and it won't update. And network connection setup, Windows... Okay. At this point, Microsoft won't stop too many users. Yep, I'm not seeing much rise in Linux users so far. It's going up, actually, a little bit. Not a ton, but it's going up a little bit. And what can really help is that Chrome OS is really like a Gentoo build. And so that's going to be one of the things that starts to really push the developers in that general direction. Notice unpopular say in a Linux chat, I've never had a problem with Windows. I have had problems with Windows, but you know what? I've had problems with all operating systems. There is no perfect OS. If there were, a bunch of people would get on it and it would break. I can access all my files offline. You know, one of the biggest challenges I have with my Windows computer is it remembers, I don't know why, I never told it to, but it remembers the logins to my NAS drive. That means if a crypto virus hits Windows, it's going to brick my NAS drive as well. But if that were to happen to my Linux computers, it wouldn't because I still have to type in the passwords. And I've intentionally set my network up to require passwords to share files. Even if it's just a simple password, but it prevents a crypto virus from spreading from one computer to the next in the office. Windows turning off their telemetry probing analysis will be their day. Yep. That's why I use games now that did not need the internet to download. Yep. I have the best video games on Linux, but my privacy is more important. Absolutely. Absolutely. Not started Windows 10 much, but it seems I recall it can tunnel through a router firewall. Possibly, but I'm not sure it can. What was going on is it tunnels through its own host file. So if you put in the host file to block the IPs that it's sending data to, it will tunnel through that. But it will still attempt to make the connections. I'm not sure if it can get through the firewall or not. I'm not sure about that. That's interesting. Apple probably just as bad as Microsoft. Yes, it is. That's why I use Linux. If you want a good gaming performance, Linux is not the place to be at the moment. Probably not. Bernicles, as smart as he is making foolish decision by staying on Windows. Yep. I will probably never own a television. Cashless society. New world order. Yep. I agree. Concur. It's funny how much anti-consumer stuff Barnacle supports and still messes Windows 10 crap. Yeah, that's the thing, you know? And that's the same thing that's just bothered me about Chris Perello. It's like you spent the entire month telling people about how bad Apple products have been since the latest update. You know what? Vote with your wallet and switch. Because only when enough people switch do they do that. In fact, I was watching this thing. There's a very new channel. He has tons, like 100,000 subscribers, called Company Man. I was watching some of his things, and he did one on Coke and the new Coke, right? Remember this? Coke decided they wanted to go back and change their formula. Now, what they did, and this is neat. I learned all this in this video from this guy called Company Man last night. So basically, Coke went out and you do those taste tests. Like, what is it that people preferred? And they found out that people absolutely preferred, in a taste test, this new Coke over old Coke, over Pepsi, over everything. Everybody. Like, overwhelmingly, people liked this new Coke. So they dropped, this was in the 80s, they dropped Coca-Cola, went with a new Coke, and it caused people to lose their minds. And that's why, for the longest time, you had cans that said Coke Classic. Because people hated it so bad. It wasn't that they didn't like the taste. They loved the taste. Taste tests prove they love the taste. But don't switch it. But what happened is there was so much outcry It only took them 3 months to pull all the new Coke off the market and re-release the original formula. Because enough people stood up and said no. That's what's going to happen. When enough people stand up and tell Microsoft, no, you may not collect my data, that is when they're going to change. When enough people stand up and tell Apple, you may not charge that much for a crappy phone that scans my face and my fingerprints. When enough people stand up and do that, we are going to have a situation where things are going well. Okay, that's what's going to cause change. But as long as we're blindless, mindless sheeple, new phone, iPhone, as long as that's us, they're just going to keep doing what they want to do, irregardless of what's good for us. That's what's going to happen. Oh, see you later, Charlie. Realize how productive I am on a Mac OS with programming. I don't know if I'll stay the same way if Apple decides to work on their OS. See, I can't stand working on a Mac. I got a Mac in my office, and it's on every day, and I cannot stand being on the Mac. Oh, it drives me crazy. Thank you. Yours and Lunduke's videos finally gave me the push I needed to take control back. Delete the Facebook account. Sweet. Yep. I mean, other than sharing 1 or 2 business documents on Google Drive between a few business clients, I don't do anything on clouds at all. You know, and I don't miss it. I have a NAS in my office, which eventually I need to put Nextcloud on, but I don't know. Erase the hard drive and Ubuntu Mate is now the only system. Never going back to Windows. Yep, that's right. Congratulations. Okay. Barnacles said he used to work at Microsoft 15 years, so he knows the ins and outs, but for him to continue to use this is beyond my understanding. That's the thing, you know. Trezano, how's it going? You know, the Windows icon ought to give you a hint. You can see both ways in and out. Yep. I don't even use my real name on Facebook. Good. Televisions can spread malware through radio waves. Interesting. Icon pack are on Tumbleweed. Yeah. It's some system icon pack. I don't know why. It's applications art icon. I think it's a tarball. Can't find it. And for whatever reason, it crashes the update on Tumbleweed. I don't know why. YouTube is beginning the next television replacement and major happenings. Now all of the censoring, but nothing corporate crap propaganda. Okay. Heard about YouTube becoming the next television. Yep. Yeah, pretty much. Have you heard of Project Veritas? There's a leak revealing the mainstream media has over trending page of YouTube. No, I have not heard of it. I will have to look into that. Want the Google Pixel 2. Do you use Pocket Maps? If so, does it work offline? Let me see what I'm using on mine right now. What I am using right now is OSM and the reason I'm using this is it is completely offline. It gives me topos, trails, roads, everything. I can use it online, offline. It can center me on GPS if I turn my GPS on. And then, of course, if you zoom in more, you get to see, you know, all the road maps. It will do full direction, so it has the direction icon down here. So if I do turn on the GPS, I can center myself. I can actually tell it, go where I am, go to a certain location on the map. So far, I really like it. I mean, this is the detail of the maps this thing has. These are all offline maps. So I've downloaded it. Of course, that right there, that's a trail through town. I mean, this map is awesome. So that's what I'm using on the Android phone. Downside, of course, is you have to make sure that you have downloaded the maps for the regions you're going to be at. But once that's there, it works offline. So that's why it's good. And actually, I took it up into the mountains to test it. More secure than Linux OSs. Is there more secure Linux OSs than Android for phones? Well, what I did is I used Lineage OS because it doesn't have any of Google's proprietary code in it, so that we know everything that it does. is not sending data back home, and then I'm not installing any Google apps on it. All I'm using on it is all open source and free stuff. Downside is you have to make sure you verify or validate the sources. So some of the programs on there, I've downloaded the source code from GitHub and Android Studio and just exported them as apps myself. In other cases, I'm looking for reputable places like F-Droid to download, or in some cases, downloading the file directly from the people that make it. Okay. Mainstream tech companies probably despise Linux. Actually, most of them use Linux. I've tried Proton Mail yet, and Jitsi as well. I've used Jitsi a few times with people. I don't know. Haven't made up my mind. Proton Mail, no. I don't really have a need to use Proton Mail, so I probably won't anytime soon. I run all my own emails through my own servers, and I have access to all those servers, so that's what I do. Windows 8X coming off the desktop and will run in a VM very soon. Yep. Total BS. I was eating some supper. As of today, I no longer support Windows 10 unless the customer insists or has to have it for their work. Yep. That's it. But that's kind of what happens, though. If you don't support it as a computer in the computer industry, then you're kind of out of luck a little bit. California seems to be full of these people, and California Democrats repealed the bill that made spreading... Wait, repealed? Oh, yeah. That was an interesting case where I'm surprised I'm not really talking about today. But yeah, basically, and we're not talking about accidental, okay? A lot of people are like, well, it's accidental. We're not. This bill had nothing to do with accidental gray area. It was specifically, you have a disease that is completely incurable that requires a multi-million-dollar lifetime regimen of drugs to control. You willingly infect your partner without telling them about it. You intentionally conceal the fact you have a deadly disorder. It used to be a felony. Now it's a misdemeanor. Don't do that again. No, if you are willingly giving somebody a life-affecting disease, you may as well have shot them in the head. I think it should be a death penalty. You knowingly, we're not talking accidental. We're not talking you didn't get a test. We're talking you know you have this disease and you willingly spread it to somebody else. You should get the death sentence. You've given it to someone else. You've given them a ticking time bomb in their life. You've cost them multi-million dollars over their lifetime. Yeah, California's lost their mind. They must be sniffing too much melted plastic through all the forest fires out there right now. I don't know. I'll warn everyone of MS shady practices. Send them a brief email letting them know my plans. Yep. Meant to say that Windows 8X and Windows 7 is now doing about the same amount of data collection. Yep. Yes, they are. Pepsi's better, to be honest. I used to prefer Coke, but it's way too sweet. Really? Actually, Pepsi is objectively more sweet. There's a lot more sugar in Pepsi than Coke. That's interesting. Use Windows 7, install up to SP1, and I think you are safe. Additional updates can be installed, but must be researched to avoid spyware. Yep. Put Linux Mint on your Mac, and you will love it. No, I got it because it's a Mac. Since I'm a developer, I like having all major operating systems. That's why I still do most of my web work on a Windows PC, just so that I have access to that. It's Windows 7. See you, Mark. Perez, I should say. Schools where I go, all signs say all gender restroom, like if there are more than 2 genders. Republicans are just as bad. Yes, they are indeed. All right. Jump back on over to the news there. All right. For any of you thinking of getting a fascinating Airbnb, just remember that this guy and his wife were secretly filmed at their Airbnb rental through hidden spy cameras. See, I know some people that use Airbnb that are kind of like, I think this is probably an okay thing. I don't know. I disagree. The problem is individual people are not as easy to hold as accountable and have the potential to be crazy and radical. Unless Airbnb really, really, really had a really, really, really good way of screening people, I'm not all that interested in staying in a random stranger's house. So basically, these people had multiple spy cameras set up all over their house. This couple finds it. This is actually from the police. Got a copy of the video, and this is them both realizing we're on candid camera. And so pretty much this guy at this Airbnb, he had multiple things in there. It was, quote, for his own sex parties, is what he said. Pretty much he comes on and is talking about how sorry, my phone keeps beeping on me. He keeps on going on the basically had multiple different things, at least 20 or 30 different videos of sexual activity, but everyone knew they were being recorded. You know, if the people that you're engaging in this with are knowledgeable about they're being recorded, then why are these cameras secret? Hey, if you want to make nasty pictures, like nasty pictures and videos of you and whatever you want to do in your house by yourself, you know, hey, just make sure there's consent. And what do you need secret spy cameras for? Oh, yeah, just to tell you, there's secret spy cameras in here. So, you know, when we're doing our mad whatever. Guys, this is why, this is like, Airbnb is like Uber for hotels, okay? I mean, every single time, don't forget, every single time you have an Uber, or every single time you use an Airbnb, a poor little kitty like this gets a little bit clubby down. Right, kitty? I can't say that much bad about Airbnb, but this is just creepy. And this is the thing. May not necessarily reflect on Airbnb itself, but what it does do is it reflects on the whole matter of, this is the concern with renting someone's random stranger's house, that there's too much potential for this. They have too much access. We have too little access. Now, could this happen in a hotel room? Probably. Has it happened in hotel rooms? Yeah, sure. But I think that when you get a big hotel, I think you have there's quite a bit more penalty, regulation, and in many ways accountability for this type of stuff. And so we have to keep that in mind. Oh boy, let's see. Oh, this is an interesting one. Movies anywhere. This is a new Disney product. So basically, as you know, since there's so many different places to buy movies now, like, hey, I can buy movies through iTunes, and then through Amazon, and then through someone else, and then through someone else. Well, now Disney has this Movies Anywhere app. It's a free app where you can basically plug in all of your various other streaming accounts, and you can now have one app where you can stream all of the digital content to your devices. So this is an interesting thing in that only one app, one password to do all this. So that's fine. The biggest problem I see with this, though, is that it doesn't change the ability that I can't have access to the videos that I have bought. It doesn't change access to the fact that if for whatever reason Amazon has a spat with the company that produced this video that I bought, they can pull it off the device. I mean, I'm even checking right now if the people who bought my one book is no longer on Kindle for some reason. I don't know why it's not. And I haven't bothered getting a hold of the publisher because I plan on pulling it from that publisher soon anyway. But I'm wondering, are they trying to retroactively pull that book off of other Kindle devices? I haven't seen that yet, but I also don't log really into my Kindle. So the problem is that this doesn't save or protect your movies. It's basically just a pass-through. What we need, though, in this country is the ability for somebody to take a legal copy of a movie that they legally bought, make a legal digital copy for their own use on whatever device or methodology they want to do it, as long as it's not distributed and not sold to other people. I think that should be perfectly fine and legal. This is just one another thing. And then the other challenge we have with this is now Disney has the logins for all of your other accounts. We don't need more things like this that just collect all of your data and kind of go back and forth. So this is scary of them. No, we got a couple of fun, scary Amazon-y stuff. This is another one of these ones that deeply concerns me. Basically, Amazon now has a place for teens to have their own login that the parents have to approve. So basically, you now can take your account. Your parents have the account. The teens have the account. The credit card is on the account, so the teenager orders something, the parent gets a text message, and then they can reply with a text to approve or deny the order. And what I see going on with this is that this is a way to separate things out so you can better track people. Now, this is not a way to try and get around COPA. I did verify that because COPA applies to children up to age 13. This is for teenagers 13 and over, 13 to 17-year-old teenagers. So it's a way, though, because one of the biggest challenges Amazon has had is to figure out who is the one buying what, and that starts messing with their data. So now, if every teenager in the house can have their own separate Amazon account, and of course, since we all stay perpetually logged into everything, then what happens is now Amazon can track everything down, and instead of one family account used to buy and sell all this stuff, now they can better track down who is buying what. It looks like a measure of control, but you know what? I just think that this is yet another way of technology interfering with the parent-child relationship. I really think that what they need to do is just encourage more real discussion on the dinner table. Hey, I need some new shoes. Let's get on the Amazon account. Or have one Amazon account. Everybody uses the same account. That's fine. And, have this thing called parental discipline. If your child orders something, they didn't have the authorization. Or, shocking, don't give your kid access to an Amazon account that stores a credit card in it. That's another option too. So this to me is a way for Amazon to start separating kids out earlier, build better, more comprehensive profiles, and B, start figuring out who in the family is looking at what, who in the family is ordering what, because again, it's better data tracking. And that is certainly, to me, is a challenge. So this is kind of a way, a teenager makes purchase from their own login. Yeah. Oh, it's more convenient. No, it's to track their data. This is to track their data. Parents are notified and review the order. Parents approve the order, and the order is queued for shipment. So teens, you guys can start here. Let's go ahead and have a look at these links here. Let's see what we get. So here's our teen link. Woohoo! Look at all this trendy stuff. Okay. This is how you market a website for a teenager. This is how you market a website to a parent. Teenager. Ooh, it's so cool. It's so trendy. What is this thing? Is this a giraffe? I'm just scared. What? Excuse me. I'm sorry, I'm back. Do we really need this type of crap? I mean, look at this. This is so kid trendy. This is your teenager login. Ooh, let's promote the teenager thing. Come on. Ready to get your own? Ooh, send this link to your parents to get started. No. Parent, click here. Okay, so that just goes back to the main parent page. Ooh, what you'll love. Know exactly what they buy. Maintain your privacy. Grow their independence. Yeah, Amazon, we believe you. We believe you, Amazon. Know exactly what they're buying. Maintain your privacy. Ooh, keep your gifts and your things separate from your kid so your kid doesn't get a chance to see. Ooh, grow their independence. No, grow our ability to track what your children do. That's what this is about. Oh, this is creepy. Oh, this is creepy. Oh, this is creepy. Ooh, let's look at some comments. Ooh, it's creepy. Oh. Wow. All right. Abolish parties. The best man for the job wins. Yep. There you go. Or a woman. Yep. California is probably the HHW capital of America. No argument there. They want everyone infected with HIV. Well, you see, if everyone has HIV, then no one can discriminate against it. Think of that logic. How much money they can make from the poison they'll sell you to treat it. That's right. That's right. Pharmaceutical. I'm curious if pharmaceutical companies had a hand in this bill. I don't know. I guess so, but I haven't looked into that. They have bathrooms for unicorn people, too. That's right. Excuse me, I only see a men's and a women's room. Where's the restroom for the unicorns? Heard you don't have to report your HIV status as a blood donor. Oh, God. Okay, this is what started the whole mess to begin with. This is what caused it. Ugh. Wow. I'm just scared. I was getting a haircut, so I pretty much missed the whole stream. Thought I'd pop in, watch the rest later. All right, man. Scientific fact, but did you get a haircut by somebody who was HIV positive? Did they intentionally cut their finger and rub it in your ear to give you AIDS? All right, scientific fact is more important than pathetic emotions of people who are unstable. Yes, scientific fact. We have two genders. Biblical fact. God made man and woman. Laptop battery's just charging again. Will not charge. Uh-oh. Done this 4 times. I think it's finally dying. Do you have a Pringles account? No. I did not know there was a Pringles. We're talking about the potato chips, right? I have no idea what you're talking about. If there was an account for Pringles to buy more potato chips, I'm going to be scared. Your model number search. I'm going to remember. Yeah, being still charged at times. It charges again later, maybe on the battery. Might be a charging port on the board, which is probably soldered on. If it's HP, it's probably not soldered. Try the battery first, then try the AC adapter. That doesn't work. Might decide to replace the board. I'm going to have my doubts in being motherboard, though, simply because it works fine. Just want charge at times. Toshiba Satellite. It's been a great one. Did research before I bought it. I'll order another one after the show's over. All right. 3 years strong, and the keyboard is going out at times. Like my Windows 7 computer, I think the motherboard might be the only thing that's original in that computer. Got that thing in 2010, but the cool thing is it still works like the day I brought it home. I mean, the thing is a beast. It's awesome. It's a Dell Inspiron. Gotta be careful buying laptop batteries. Couple trusted sites. There isn't many good ones out there at all. All right. Would you be surprised if Windows 10 privacy concerns were the reasons a lot more people switched to Linux in 2017? You know, my mom cuts my hair. Oh, okay. That's good. That's good. JJ Game. Happy to hear that. You know, I wish more people would realize what Windows 10 does and recognize the dangers with it. That's what I wish would happen there. A friend says I'm crazy too, but I tell him I might be crazy, but I'm smart. That's the thing. That's the thing, you know? That's the thing. Oh boy, what's our next topic? Our next topic is bad business. We're going to go ahead and use our corporatocracy banner for that. Alright, so next, Amazon wants to go after porch pirates by delivering to your car trucks and inside of your homes. This is kind of the same thing, like, if you've noticed that Amazon and Walmart are inside this embroiled battle where they're just kind of fighting each other back and forth. Well, what's going on here is, you know, of course, there is this issue of porch pirates. People watching, you know, following delivery trucks. They make a delivery to the front porch. No one's home. They realize it's probably something useful in there. And so they go up and they snag the package. Sometimes right as the UPS guy leaves, you know. And so Amazon's trying to fight this. And so now they want to do something similar to like that creepiness Walmart want to do where, hey, a guy's going to show up and stock your refrigerator for you of your groceries. No, that's creepy. But anyway, that's kind of what's going on is they want to have the ability to have, again, that one-time access code to your house. No, thank you. And then they're just going to drop your, go on in and drop your package right inside the front door. You know, probably after using your restroom, raiding your refrigerator, and plopping down on your couch and watching some bad movies on your pay-per-view. But, you know... hey, they are, you know, they're playing keep away. The good news, I mean, the bad news is you're going to have a pay-per-view thing. You're going to have probably some, you know, maybe some AIDS-infested guy using your toilet. And then what's going to happen is, you know, they're going to eat all your food, but no one's going to steal your package from Amazon, folks. Your package from Amazon's going to be safe. Absolutely safe. All right. Well, Uber was finally whapped upside the head. One of the like 37 lawsuits and violations against them. So basically between December 31st, 2010 and August 17th, 2017, if you happen to receive a text message from Uber that you'd never authorized, you are able to take part in this class action lawsuit. So you can come up to ubertcpasettlement.com and learn about all this. So if Uber has bothered you and you've never given them permission to bother you through your text messages, then go ahead and go here, learn some information. And then the last thing we want to talk about under bad business is just this little thing, little challenge here with iOS. This is a concept. This is not something that has been seen in the wild, but this is actually only takes 30 lines of code to do. So if you are familiar with an iPhone and you have probably seen this pop-up here that is asking for your passwords, this one over here is an official pop-up. The one on the left is the official pop-up. The one on the right is a phishing pop-up. This is designed to make it look just like your iPhone screen and have you enter your password so they can steal your password to your Apple account. Yeah, there's really no difference between those. So that is, this is a proof of concept thing. Here's what it looks like inside of an app. I mean, this is good. He did this in 30 lines of code, and this can be dropped into any application that you drop on an Apple store or sideload into a iOS device. So that's kind of scary. Be warned if your phone does give you some random pop-up if you're on iTunes. Be wary of these pop-ups. Know the action you're going to do should trigger one of these, and don't trigger one of these if you did not do an action that probably should trigger one of these. So keep that in mind as you go into the fun world of iOS. All right. People had a terrible time with Toshiba's. This one's been very good. You know, the only thing I never cared about Toshiba's is their speakers always been very poor quality. Other than that, I've actually liked Toshiba's pretty well. There was one model of a Toshiba laptop, a really low-end model, that had a design flaw, and literally the hard drive was screwed directly into the main chassis of the computer without any padding. So if you just slid the computer around, it would send that shock directly into the hard drive. I had one of those that burned 3 hard drives in 6 months. That was a bad Toshiba thing, but I've had other Toshibas that were really good computers. Not crazy, just aware. Yep. You can educate people. It's their decision to accept what you're telling them. They can research on their own. Show them Tom's videos. Yeah, there you go. That's right. Government is afraid of smart people. Yep. If I vanish one day, they took me to room 101. All right. Shepard would not let any delivery driver in my house. Yep. Maybe we are overthinking this. Yeah. That's not happening. Uber lost their license in London, UK. I don't know if they finally appealed that or not, but yes, the UK decided not. It wasn't losing their license. UK decided not to renew their license. And then what happened after they decided not to renew their license is they said they were going to appeal it, and I haven't heard anything about it since. So I don't know. Unless it's Brian R. Okay. That is way too easy to do. People are just the easiest thing to put in an app. Yep. There's a virus for iOS, and it's only 30 lines of code. It is a phishing pop-up. So the idea is that the thing will grab your email to display your email, and then it will prompt you for your password. When you enter your password, it sends your basically your iTunes login to the app creator. So it was a proof of concept of a phishing pop-up. All right, so we're going to end with, I found a very fascinating OK Then article. So today is the last Friday the 13th flight 666 to hell. What else can you say? I mean, really. Pretty much there's this airport in, what is it, Helsinki or whatever, with the airport abbreviation HEL, and it's hell. The flight was 666, and of course today's the Friday the 13th. So yes, today there was a flight 666 straight to hell. Um, they decided after today they're going to change the flight numbers. Like, is it like number 945 or something? 954. They're changing it to flight 954. I kind of, I really wish though that I've known about this. I would have paid extra just to take direct flight 666 straight to hell on Friday the 13th. I mean, come on. This is a good article. This is a good article. We have, by the way, in Pennsylvania, we have a Route 666. I stopped and took some photos from it at one point in time. You live 30 kilometers from hell? Sweet. Awesome. Hey, if you send me a picture of hell, I'll send you, I guess, a 666. I got a geocache once called hell. Just kind of crazy. Not a superstitious man. It's only coincidence. Has been quite a joke among pilots. Okay, a pilot flew the route in 2013. It's not a superstition. It's only coincidence for me. By time to time, he's heard the crew were happy to help any passenger who felt uncomfortable or anxious about being on flight 666. Straight to hell, huh? All right. Well, that's a good fun way to end this show. Thanks for watching, folks. Once again, if you would like to help support what we are doing here on Switch to Linux, check out switchtolinux.com/support. You can learn there about direct links through PayPal. I have a Patreon account set up over there. Patrons, of course, this video was recorded as a live stream. The version that will be up on YouTube is going to be an edited version. Patrons will have access to the live stream. And I'm also considering putting in a backdoor access on my main Switch to Linux site as well. Check out that support page to keep up to date on if I choose to do that. So thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. All right, let's check any final comments here. Let's see. You can make some cash from Flight 666 at hell. There you go, I survived Flight 666 straight to hell, That's the t-shirt right there, All right. Well, Port Dover bikers celebrate Friday the 13th. Nice. Well, we're going to have to go ahead and end this in classic fashion with the kitty. So we're going to go ahead and feed the kitty. You want some Temptations, don't you? Oh, yeah. You want some Temptations. All right, over here, buddy. Over here, so people on the camera. You're famous on the internet. 42 people are going to watch you eat these Temptations, Kitty. 42 people. Yeah. Oh, right there. And one more. Oh, yeah. He's a good kitty, huh? He's a good kitty. Yeah, he's a good kitty. Unofficially brought to you by Temptations. Well, folks, have a good evening.